What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kvegas 3D and the S2 batch. Before we get into them, I want to remind you that this video and all the content on my channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you're new to the channel, guys, if you will like and subscribe for me while you're here, really appreciate that. You can also be sure to comment. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. That's going to be in the description of the video. Guys, I appreciate all your support. Let's take a look at these Kvegas. So finally re-released after many years in hibernation. These came out back in 2011. First time we're getting a re-release of the shoe. Again, guys, this is the S2 batch. Let me show you where I picked them up from. Instagram seller, one of my favorites. WhatsApp will be right there and in the description of the video. Be sure to mention Kvegas. I know she'll take good care of you, and let's dive right in. So with this one, you got your Kvegas Pro outsole. It is in that milky look, of course. I have already had these out on the court, so I mean, they look a little bit dusty, but that is why. I always try to do an on foot to let you guys know how they feel and whatnot. Obviously would not have looked like this out of the box. You got that blue Shizuku with the real carbon fiber. All that looks just fine. The traction on these things were really good right out of the box, and they do squeak on the court for those of you that want to know that. So there's a shot of that. So traction was no problem at all. This semi-translucent kind of milky look does tend to pick up a little bit more dust than a solid rubber, but not anything too bad. That Cushlon midsole, you have a glossy finish back here at the zoom, matted out the rest of the way pretty much. There is your Kobe code, a little bit harder to see on that milky look. Same thing with the phenomenon. All right, going around to the medial side. Shoe looks to be pretty clean from glue residue. I've seen a few spots here and there. Nothing too dramatic. All in all, looks pretty good. And honestly, it's hard to complain about that. The images that I've seen on some of people's retail pairs. So fit and comfort of these shoes, guys. These are a men's 13, and I've never had any issues with the fit on the S2 batch. I feel like they fit true to size. That's what I always go with, is my normal size. That's what I would tell you to go with, unless you're a wide footer. You know, then you might want to go up a half size, but other than that, you should be good to go. Comfort wise, this S2 is going to stick to your Pro setup, so you are going to get that top loaded zoom turbo unit up here in the forefoot. Nothing back here but the Cushlon and the heel, which is just fine for impact protection. And I will say that having these on foot, that zoom turbo unit didn't feel very stiff out of the box. I was impressed with that. Pretty bouncy on foot, really, first thing when I had them on. Now the upper of the shoe, of course, is your micro mesh upper covered with the polyurethane scales with that cool 3D look. It does come with the 3D glasses, of course. Kind of gimmicky, because I mean, what are you going to do with those honestly in real life? But at any rate, it does come with them. I will say that especially on this right shoe, the scale lining is high. And when I first got my QC picks, I was thinking about trying to wait and get another pair, but then I wanted to get them. This, depending on when you're watching this, this is during CNY, and I wanted to go and get them shipped, etc. So I said, just go ahead and ship them. And also saw some pics of some retail pairs, and I mean, that right there is Jalen Brunson wearing a pair, obviously retail, and scale lining's pretty high. So is what it is. Just go with it. The upper, again, you do have that 3D look on the scales. Really cool. Almost kind of messes with your eyes if you look at it for too long, but the material of the shoe felt just fine right out of the box. It's not too stiff. You do have the gray laces over top of your torch tongue. Some memory foam up here in the top, and then of course you got your blue Shizuku on the right shoe, or excuse me, yeah, the right shoe. I'm getting confused here, sorry. Of course you got your 2026 with the 3D glasses embossed on the back of the tongue, and then that LA branding on the insole. Gray hits on the sock liner as well. Of course, I removed the insole from the other shoe. It is that mold to your foot insole. Got the blue swoosh over here, and as per usual with an S2, it's slightly too small. If I come from the second lace loop down to this little portion right here, it should come a little bit closer to my finger, but it's one of those things that, you know, unless you really know what you're looking for, I don't think it's going to stand out. You got kind of a synthetic, almost like a synthetic nubuck is what it feels like, or synthetic durabuck back here underneath the heel counter. Again, on the right shoe, it is the blue translucent. Of course, the other shoe has the red. And all in all, for an S2, I think they did pretty good on the shape. You know, it could be a little bit sleeker, but this is pretty standard for S2. And again, gonna look just fine on foot. You know, no problems. Here's a shot of your signature on that heel counter. And then the medial side of this one, guys, of course, you have your red swoosh. Looks good, looks to have some overspray maybe, okay. And scale lining, you know, maybe a tad millimeter or two high, but all in all, no real issues. Let's check out the left one, and you can see the left one, the scale lining is not as high as the right. And again, I have seen retail pairs that it fluctuates. Like there's no rhyme or reason, there's no real consistency. Again, Jalen's pair I thought was pretty high. So just is what it is. We'll have to see as more batches come out how they look. Of course, on the left shoe, you have the red heel counter, red on the lateral side versus the blue. If you're not familiar with that, they kind of switch it up. Back of the shoes, everything looks to line up just fine. You get the real red heel counter here with the signature. There is your Nike Zoom. And again, you can see the compressions in the midsole. That is just for me having them on foot. Didn't look like that out of the box. Outsole, of course, on this one, you do have the red Shizuku. There's your phenomenon, and then the blue swoosh on the medial side of the left shoe. And then you got your red swoosh on this one, or excuse me, the red Shizuku on this one. And it's pressed in pretty cleanly to the tongue. I think you can see that's pretty flush. So that is something that they are getting better at with the S2. Same thing on the shape of the tongue. Starting to get a little spiral. It could definitely be a little bit tighter, but it is better than what they used to get us. And again, looks just fine on foot. There's another shot of that 2026, the Shizuku and the 3D glasses. So while I've got them here, let's go ahead and get the light on and take a look at the Strobel. And I think you can pretty easily see the outline right in there of where that Zoom Turbo unit starts. You got the gray Strobel with the white stitching, and then there is a shot of the size tag itself. As per usual, guys, these are just going to come with some regular tissue paper for a Kobe, and then it does come with the correct mold to your foot insole. Again, I've had them on foot, so you see some sock fibers and whatnot on there. Otherwise, it would have been clean. The LA branding, and it is, of course, for a men's size 13, that mold to your foot insole. So all that looks good. Let's check out the box that came with this one. No special box, just the 3rd generation Kobe Pro box. The glossy look with the scale pattern and that gold foil signature on the lid. That look is going to continue all the way around. Some branding in black on the bottom, your little window. Another Shizuku, and the box label is Kobe 6 Pro black, blue, and red, men's 13. Inside, the black look in the lid, that new tissue paper with some white paper underneath that. Nothing else inside the box except for the glasses, of course, that we've already seen. Box was perfectly protected in shipping. I mean, no damage to it at all. Looks like I just walked out of the store. So always appreciate that when they take those extra steps. I will tell you guys, if you have an option, I would always pick FedEx for shipping versus UPS. UPS, for whatever reason, just seems to damage my boxes more often than not. So, but that one came in looking good. And the shoes look good. You know, again, a little bit high on the scale lining. Other than that, I don't think there's anything to complain about. And like I said, even retail seems to have that issue with this particular shoe. So anyway, guys, that's my unboxing review of the Kobe 6 3D and the S2 batch. I hope that you enjoyed the review and that it was helpful for you. Let me know what you think about this pair in the comments. Be sure to follow me on my other socials and be on the lookout, guys. We got a lot more of these reviews coming your way.